What is up YouTube? It's your boy Alex here from Team Generations, and today we are back again with another video. Today we're going to be looking at another market watch. So been a little while since I did one of these. I think things have kind of changed up a little bit and kind of looking forward. We have some things to discuss in general. So I'm here for cards, you're here for cards. Let's hop right into it. If you are enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like on the video, possibly consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you in advance. So without further ado, let's hop right in now. So starting off, I just want to talk about some of the deck sets. I think that they're actually like a really great value overall. They've done a lot for the game in terms of just, you know, putting players into something that's like meta viable for an approachable, easy kind of price. Overall, we see that these guys for the regular base versions going around $70, $215 for the premium set, which is fine. I think they retailed really at like that 180 to like 200 kind of price range. So only 3 listings at $215 over here, which is not bad. And then $70 is a little bit for this, I would agree, but at the same time too, like it is still a really good deck. Premium forward looking at least. This Mazer gear over here obviously is what's carrying the real value of this set, and this is really going to be the key piece you need for premium going forward. 4 of those, so only one of these included in the deck set. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is at this point. Other than that, I mean, if you're really looking to build the deck, you can build out the singles and probably come around to a little bit under that $70 price range, all things considered, so not terrible. And I think, again, really good product, still a meta deck in my opinion. Next over here too, something I believe too is still a meta deck. I don't think this is getting the love that it really deserves. I've seen some really high tier players bring this to kind of new heights in my opinion, and when played properly, I think it's just as competitive as pretty much anything in standard format right now. And again, the Asleep Messiah is something that will be used for premium, so for $46, I think this is a no-brainer. If you can get it for like $40, it's absolutely pick it up 100%. You know, again, things within the deck itself aren't that expensive. You could probably price it out for like a very base rarity version to be a little bit under that, but at the same time, you know, why not just purchase it for $46? It's really just a little bit easier on everybody. Again, really great product at this point over here. Next up too, something I did want to talk about, something that hasn't been as talked about or seen as good of a product in a way. I know this like MSRP'd at around that 150, but again, nobody was paying that. It didn't stick. Unfortunate for sellers, I think. I think they bought it for obviously not 150, but somewhere a little bit over $90 there. If at the very least, I think they bought it for $90. If I could be wrong. If you're a seller, let me know down below. But $89 for this is still a little iffy. It comes with a very good stride. Comes with a couple cards that are definitely worth it overall, but I think that it's just not super impactful in terms of meta. They're not like, they are out of the box ready, but they're not out of the box super competitive, so to speak. The Night Rose one kind of is, but there was a couple cards they like left out, or like 1 or 2 kind of things that do need to be changed up. I can't speak so much for the Harry one. I really don't know off the top of my head. I haven't really touched Pale Moon Premium, but at the same time, I think that this is good, and I'll kind of talk about Night Rose a little bit later as we get into the video, but there is something to be said for there. Whoops, let me skip ahead over here. Just whoops, where is the... Do I have the sets? Is this the set over here? Yeah, whoops, sorry. This is the latest set. This is going to be Dragon Masquerade. So I did want to go over just the general course of the set in general. I think that we're seeing really good prices for this. We see that the Zorga mask has gone kind of where it's been staying for that market price at $314, $299, $217. These have kind of stabilized. They were stable, I think, from day one. I think this was a little less. It's spiked up just a bit. I did get lucky enough to pull one of these, thank God, but a couple of things over here. There definitely is like solid value, and if you did pull one of these, the textured foil, I think this is the starter, that you know, like the Hololive collab or whatever, that was definitely a solid price over here. Let's check it out, actually. Are any of these selling? Yeah, they did, kind of going down in price over here, as we can see, so price dropped. Oh wow, my shopping tool kind of kicked in over there. That's interesting. Been trying out Edge lately. Chrome is just annoying me. Can't get a couple things going on it, but overall really not too bad on the FFRs. The Zorga FFR is a good price. This one over here too, if you're playing Varina. Aquamarine, okay, it's, you know, at that $50, it's acceptable. $30 for Jejul Nest. I think it's actually a pretty decent deck. We see this guy's high. This one's a little high in my opinion. Good price on Unique. Solid price for Solarion as well. Mask of Hydrogum or whatever it's called. Decent overall, not terrible. I think that is could be worth it. $18 for the regular copy, and we see things have been pretty stable overall. We see that the again, Divas are back down to like the $15 from that $25 market price. Hexorb Sorceress over here. The new stuff is really cheap. The old stuff has kind of gone up, and maybe we'll cover that a little bit later. But overall, you're really not looking at too much for the set. So I feel like this is all you can kind of ask for in a Vanguard set. And then in the latest one, I think that previously the sets were a little bit more expensive. You know, $1.70 for the new Zorga. You can't you can't complain with that overall. Yeah, 99 cents for some of the new stuff. If you have the existing deck, not an arm and a leg to kind of buy into the new stuff. So this set is pretty solid. And some of the reprints, I know this was Dragon Tree Invasion, so going back a little bit, but some of the reprinted cards are kind of crashing. We saw that the Trick Moon was like $10 when it first came out too. I think it was even more. I could be wrong over here, but yeah, Trick Moon's kind of crashed down to that $5 as opposed to $20 when it was like at its heyday. Something to watch out for over here, something that's kind of bounced back down. We see that the market price for this is $6.99. This is going to be Dragon Tree Wretch, Bist Aitivus, whatever. This is the Stoichia Dragon Tree marker unit. This is definitely crashed down a little bit over here. Yeah, $6 around there. If you can get it for that $3 price range, I think that's definitely worth it. Obviously, this is a trusted seller over here, over 10,000 sales for $3. Heavily played, actually. Near mint, yeah, $6. If you can get it for that $3 mark, I think it's worth it. $6 is a little bit high. It's not 100% necessary. There's another strategy you can go with for Zorga overall. I know in my strategy I'm using this, but the Token Rush unit, that is viable as well. Looking back at Dragon Tree Invasion, I think there's actually some good value to kind of pick up on in here. The DSR, this is actually a really cool art in my opinion. This did come down a little bit, market price of $115. We can see it just slowly trailing off. So if you know somebody trying to offload one, you know, maybe offer them somewhere around that $80, $85 kind of dollar price range. And I think for a DSR, that's a really good price. You might as well pick it up if you are a Bruce enthusiast. Next up here too, again, just kind of on that Dragon Tree Invasion kind of value train. Knight of Plowing Dolbrag, I don't know that it's being used right now, but just future-proofing yourself. If you want like one copy, I think this is a really good price. Median price of this over here is going to be, the market price is $30. Or no, actually, I'm sorry, $80 just about. The listed median price is $30 right now. If you could pick one of these up, yeah, two of these, you see a couple people start to purchase these. It's a really good value on this right now. Card's not really seeing a lot of play. And again, you want to buy low, sell high kind of deal, and I think this is the low for that card. And speaking of it, again, more value out of Dragon Tree Invasion for the buyer at least. This guy was like at $30, you know, 25, yeah, 27, when I think it was Ava's, you know, the best deck. Since then, Welstra, Ava, that kind of stuff is like kind of calmed down. If you are looking for this, I think this is a good time. There's a couple different listings. How many listings are here? 36 listings in general, 37, I think, with that included one. You can kind of get it for $10 a pop around that price range. I think it's worth it at that price. This is a good card, kind of future-proof yourself. Again, Welstra's really good deck. Eva's still a really good deck. There's still a lot of value to be had out of that. And again, kind of continuing this train, we see that this is dropping. Again, the market price a couple months ago was $30 still for Inlet Pulse, but we've seen this kind of taken a, what is it, like a backseat to the meta. Flagberg's not as good. Obviously, Magnolia is not really doing too much right now. This is still not a cheap card, but people are purchasing it for that sub $20 price range. I think that you're going to see a couple copies move, and it can kind of stabilize back at that 22 to 25 kind of price range, unless we get like another really cheap, accessible reprint. Over here too, again, just out of Dragon Tree Invasion, there were a couple things that are definitely worth it right now. And FFR for this guy, this is more of a future buy. I think this is again like a value pick. The Dragon Tree Wretch Demon Shrider over here, the FFR version for just $10. The regular version, super cheap if you want that one as well. I think it's only like $1 or something of that nature. But again, we see this kind of crashing down. I think that's the case for a lot of these wretches over here. Again, the Dragon Tree one for Draco Batkal, the one for Dragon Empire, that is also about $15, $16. I'm holding on that. Personally, I have one. I'm not selling it for that price. I just think in the future it might go up, and to me, an FFR is just not worth $15. It's worth more. So yeah, again, one of these reprints that are still super expensive, something that's kind of maintained its floor throughout. Brainwash Swirler, super expensive. Again, still used in Jet in English, used in pretty much every, I think, Dark States builds, Chaos, Barrow, Jet, I think used, yeah. So I mean, anything that you're playing in Dark States pretty much uses it. Therefore, it is still an expensive card, super good. Don't have to rush to offload those. Don't have to rush to buy them either. Silverthorn Dragon Tamer, the SEC version over here, I do want to talk about, starting to come down. We can see in price, it was like $300, yeah, at one point, but a couple of them are moving at that $170 price range over the past month or so, and I think that that's more realistic. This really isn't doing a lot in premium, obviously. This isn't doing a lot in standard format, and I think it's such a cool art and definitely has like the waifu tags, but I think the general hype has kind of died down around this deck and the set in general. So with that being said, I think 170, you're starting to see that become a little bit more reasonable. And if you are looking to pick one up, it's not a bad price. You know, I always suggest saving your money, but if you're into the SEC stuff, go for it. And along that same train of thought too, Maelstrom is, for the SEC version, again going down too. We saw this going all the way up, what was it, yeah, a couple months ago. It was at that 83 kind of dollar price range. We saw one of them sell over here, I saw the other day, for $29 for an SEC. So I don't know if that was real or not, but I think that this might start to come down a little bit. That was the last sale, and yeah, it's kind of stabilized back around that $80 price range, but you know, nobody's really playing it, so that might be something else. Go Ahead Makani is definitely on the up and up again, yet again. So I know this was played in Jet originally, now it's played in Messiah. These dual nation things are kind of expensive, and I know for Chaos coming up, has some new stuff coming out as well, like three major decks really using this. I don't know if Chaos is going to be major, but two at least other meta decks like picking it up. The base rarity versions have kind of skyrocketed and kind of stabled back down as well. So we got a couple copies of this at 26, 11 over here, 26. So yeah, about $100 for a playset. Really, really expensive in my opinion. You could do without, you know, this is the optimal choice, but there are things that are, you know, maybe a half step kind of behind. They can still do more or less the same thing. You're somebody who's very value oriented, which I kind of I like to try to keep this channel. Maybe I would pass on this for right now, but it's completely up to you. If you need it, you need it. Gratias Gradale over here. This is going to be reprinted, I think, in one or two of the upcoming deck sets that for like Orphist. I forgot the Dark States one's name. I do know it. I just forgot it off the top of my head. And Graham Grace. So I think this might start to come down in price a little bit. It's been trending upwards just because I feel like so many cards need this. It's been kind of around that $18, $19 price range. Yeah, it hasn't really done too much, but just wanted to kind of mention that there might be something on the horizon. Something that is a value pickup right now. I know this was used in, what was it, Eva, and I think that's taken away now with the new grade 2 card, the Cycler, but this card has kind of dropped heavy. So the listed medium price is $12, market price for $8.84 over here, and you can definitely get a couple copies for about $5. So if you were like me, you kind of put together a budget monsters and just kind of played it as it was, played it where it lied, and so to speak. I wasn't including a full playset of this, just whatever I pulled from my prize packs. So if you are looking for a couple copies of this, I think now is definitely the time to buy it. Just upgrade your monster, get it ready for the future, because I can see them putting support for that. That was a surprisingly popular deck, especially in the West and New York area, kind of. I think a lot of people at my locals at least were started playing that. So yeah, definitely pick that up if you are interested. Another card that I think, again, is just more value oriented, Omniscience Regalia Minerva. So Minerva from what was this? Minerva Rising over here. By the way, I have what do they call it? Serial number rare. If you guys are interested in purchasing it, just reach out. Definitely work with you on the price. It's number 25, so it's actually a really, really good number in my opinion. I'll give you a good deal. But anyway, over here, I think this is a really solid deck, and we just see the price just kind of come down on it. If you know how to properly pilot this and time this really well, I think this is a very competitive deck still, something that'll last for a little bit. Restanding Vanguard is just super strong, multi-attack in this. The whole deck kind of works with itself, and I can see itself just getting better with some generic support going onwards. This is listed medium price of $10. If you can pick it up for a little bit under that, yeah, it might be trending upward, honestly, a little bit. Oops, let me turn that off right there. If you can pick it up for a little bit less than that, I think that this is a really, really good deal overall. Sorry about that alarm if I just scared you. Scared myself. Regalia of Wisdom Angelica over here. Again, same kind of deal, just good value. For not too much, you can pick up this really competitive deck and really have like a solid kind of play style. Next up here too, again, if you're waiting for the trigger to kind of pull on Ava, I think this is a good deal overall. Get this guy for $4 a pop from a very reliable kind of seller. I think it's a no-brainer. Pick it up at this price while you can over here. Very, very good card. Still a very good deck. We'll see how future metas kind of shape up. In general, I know that Verena's not doing too much, and again, that mindset of buy low, sell high kind of deal, I think now is a decent time. I know Narukami is still playing this, but the price has kind of trickled down a little bit on Verena Esperardia. I think a lot of the high rarity stuff, now is a time to kind of purchase. You know, you see a lot of the FFR stuff going for super cheap. I know, you know, the SEC for this is $134. I traded actually for an FFR of this over here just because it wasn't too much. But in general, base rarity stuff, you know, Bow Virina over here, Garu Virina, still triple rare, Braum Virina, Mirrors Virina, all this Virina stuff for a deck that could potentially, you know, they keep on supporting it every set, so like eventually something will stick, I think, in my mind. If you're looking for like a base rarity thing, I think it's actually a really good time to pick this stuff up, just pretty cheap overall. And yeah, Verena Experarity, this is the congratulations one over there. That guy's $49, but aside from that, Verena stuff is pretty cheap. I think the new Nirvana is still around that $20 price range, but aside from that, not too bad. Roaming Prism Dragon, Zorgate has been a pretty good meta deck right now. I think that this is really the card that's made the deck expensive. We see the roller coaster of price over here. Was really expensive, came back down. People didn't really believe in Zorgate too much when it first came out, but now I think the trend is starting to pick up a bit, but the prices are decent. They were at that $25 price range, but I think a lot more people started listing copies that they might have had. You have to remember too, this, I think the Awakening of Chakrabarti, this might have been the set where they changed the ratios, but I don't think it is. Off the top of my head, I think this is set 3. I think they changed it in set 4 where, you know, you used to get 2 play sets of all the triple rares, so there technically should be a lot of copies of this, and I think it's kind of going to settle at that $16, kind of $17 price range. I'm hoping more towards the 15 kind of area, but overall, if you don't have these, if you want to play the deck, I highly recommend. Super fun in this meta right now. Just did a profile on it. Go check that out on the channel. But the other card kind of holding this deck back from being like pure budget really is this guy, and you need 2 to 3 copies in the deck, I believe, of this card. Just super good in the Dim Darkness, Frozen Resentment, super piece reliant. Just getting the cards that you need out of your deck just for the cost of Soul Blast is really important. The new Order card 2, the one that counterblasts, like discards the top 5 from your deck. It's way more risky, but if you need a budget alternative to it, I think putting like 1 into the deck is like okay to kind of get some of the same deck thinning capability, or just like search capability to get your drop kind of loaded up. There's times where I kind of even prefer that card, but overall, if you don't want to pay the price for this, you can do that out of the new set. It's that really funky looking kind of like green and like ghost thing on it too. It's I don't know how to describe it, but it's a decent card. Cooling Heart and Yuika over here, there's tons of value in the LBT 03, the lyrical set, the 3rd booster for this over here. It is crazy. So this is still, I mean, one of the most expensive cards in Vanguard's history, I think, honestly. Like, it's maintained this like 50 to 60 price range for all of the decks that are considered meta for lyrical in standard, and B, you need a copy of this for premium as well for Highlander. I think it's just like such a good card overall. Again, if you have these laying around, probably offload them. I could see them reprinting this in the future. I know right now immediately we don't have one, but it's still really good. Something that is also a super value pickup. This was pennies on the dollar before, but how did I even know how to say that? Scintillate Rays, Ophelia. If you have any of these laying around, maybe list these over here. These are super high up in price right now, so value for the seller, I meant to say earlier, sorry about that, but we see people are purchasing it for that. Willista is going to be a meta deck, and if you don't have these already, definitely need them for the deck. I think that deck's great. With the new festival collection stuff coming out for it, it's definitely warranted. So if you have some copies, maybe post it on there. These are definitely selling. They're not sitting around. Same kind of deal over here, Privilege Potential Phenol. I think Phenol over here, it does have a new, there is a new Celestial kind of coming out for the Darkwing, Blackwing, Whitewing kind of build. Again, a card that was like a couple dollars at most. Let's look at the year look back over here. Yeah, these were a couple dollars when they first came out, $8, whatever. It kind of fell down to like the $4 mark. But now we are looking at a market price of $21, and copies are selling, you know, $17, $13, $14, $20. For a playset of this, you have to pay over $100 at this point. So that is, or not actually $100. Sorry about that. But yeah, you're paying around that $80 kind of $80 to $90 price mark. If you want to get it from the same seller, then yeah, you're looking for just about that $80 price range, a little bit over. Same kind of deal here. I don't know what's going on. I think this is getting I forgot, like a new Vanguard for the Ghost build over here, but it was the Felty Rosa deck. Whoops, there. Sorry about that. Cannon of Overlaid Spinning, a Datelind, something like that. But again, another triple rare that's just spiked in price. This is back up market price of $15, listed medium price of $20. People are purchasing it for that $18 kind of price range. I don't know. I guess this set wasn't like crazy opened. It is just retained its value. And then over here, back to set 3, Clear Shimmer Aurora, super good. Just go grab an order. So many of these really good lyrical cards kind of revolve around that, and we see the market price of $13, listed medium price of $17. It's just kind of trending upwards. Very, very expensive card. There's like a lot of value. If you have this set, just crack it at this point. Try to get the maximum value out of some of these double rares, things of that nature. So Shutter Chalice, Ilse, same kind of deal with that. Market price of $6, listed medium price $18. There's only one listing on the market right now. It is selling for $15, $12, that kind of like price range. It is kind of crazy. And then this one I didn't really understand either. This was again a card that was super cheap. I know it's a triple rare, but my build's not really doing much. Maybe this is something that I'm just not picking up on, but market price of $3, listed medium price of $9. Still a couple listings over here. People are purchasing this card as of last month, early this month, so I don't know what's going on, but this guy is trending upwards as well. So if you have some copies, maybe try to list them if you want. This girl is crashing. Trivocal of Nokno. This was for, what was the deck again? The Michu deck. This got reprinted essentially with the Hololive collab set out of the most recent set that we've had. So you can see these kind of going down. If you prefer the original kind of artwork to it, the original triple rare, now is a good time to kind of pick them up. You see that they're kind of crashing down, market price of $9. Listed medium price, still the same deal, but yeah, you can pick them up for super cheap, $3, $2, things of that nature. Moving on, just looking at promos again, my absolute favorite topic. If you can't tell, that's sarcasm, but broken toys at the bargain price of $40 a copy. Absolutely not. This is really harmful too. Obviously, new players who have invested in the deck. I've already went over all this stuff, made a video on it, but something I didn't really touch on, the fact that this really hurts mainline sets. Once you have promo cards and everybody knows your set is locked behind it, you go and try to buy the rest of this deck, the core is worth pennies. Like, you can pick up probably a core of this for less than $15, and then you're left with this $40 promo card. So if you made this card more accessible, I think people would want to open a crack or just purchase out of that mainline set a little bit more. Really just hurting your sellers when you're making their product absolutely worthless, hiding behind some of these promos over here. But again, Drag Ritter Halva, same deal. Oath of Vengeance Thegria, not that these decks are really doing anything, but the price of these is so much. Amaline for what was it, PBD? I think MLB could use that, I'm not 100%. Elementaria is still really expensive. We see the result of our experiment henceforth. It's kind of dropping as Ava's popularity is kind of waning as well. But some of the new promos, like, I don't really have a crazy problem with them being like, you know, around that $10 price. I mean, that's still a little expensive in my opinion for cards that are like necessary for the deck to work. But if they're going to be, you know, promos, like, I'd rather them not be distributed the way Broken Toys was. I had a couple of these. I picked them up from locals, trading with people. I guess that's like the real idea of the TCG. You know, Forest Prospecting Hunter, that's for the Leonorn. It's coming down a little bit. Tearful Malice, Volt Art, it's actually $8. Yeah, there's a couple good value cards over here. So it's always worth it to go to locals. Like, go and play the Graham Grace promos, not too much. Stealth, the Stealth Dragon one for, oh god, it's Shoujo Doji or whatever his name is. Eugene one kind of came down as well. So there's definitely value in going to locals, playing, making sure that you get those entry packs. I really hope that your locals are giving them out. If they're not, you know, you can actually, I think, tell somebody at Bushy Road. Definitely is better to kind of save our community. I understand stores have to make money where they can at this point, but it is what it is. Kind of transitioning into some premium, not going crazy with V and premium this week. I think prices have kind of like stabilized, but something that is very expensive overall. Medium price listed over here, $50, market price $20. This is an old card, Companion Starvader Photon. Photon's super good, costless lock, really, really good. We see it kind of trending upwards. I think that Chaos Breaker in general is very underrated and super, super, super good rogue pick. If you're a good pilot, you know how to pilot this into a lot of different things. This deck is insane Chaos Breaker, so definitely used in that. Keep your eye on it. And I know I mentioned I would go into Night Rose over here. And with that being said, I think this is going to be such a good card coming up in the new format. A for V, if V kind of continues as is, when Night Rose gets that new grade 2 promo, it's going to be very, very expensive. I think that it is, or it's going to be very, very good deck. It's going to be one of the most broken grade 2 promos that we've kind of gotten, I think, in general. And I think looking towards to the History Collection format, NV, this is definitely going to be used. Pick up your Night Roses while you can. $2 over here, $3 for, like, this is the base rarity. It's like a common version of it, but at the same time, it's still, you know, just as playable as the 130, as the, you know, what is it, $600 version. It's floating around here somewhere. The Rummy Rack Labyrinth Rare, no market price or anything available. So get those while you can. Definitely suggest that. Something too, just looking backwards, I don't know, this one, maybe it was speculation on this one. I don't think it's Dragfall. I think it's Drag Art that's getting the retrain, so you can use, you know, the old versions of it. This is still market price $39. It's kind of spiked and sold a couple copies. Yeah, I think this was speculation, honestly, early in June. But this guy is the lowest price for a couple different listings over here is $120. It's an old card, it is what it is. But again, moving forward, I think the Drag Heart is the one that they're really moving on. And this guy we see again, market price $31, listed medium price $94. The lowest one over here is $90, about $92, somewhere around there. Super expensive. These are selling around that $60 price range. We see a bunch of them over here. This is for the old one. It says the Awakening, the Proven Power, or the Hidden Power, or whatever. I think that this is not going to go anywhere under that like $80, $90 kind of price range. If you want it at this point, I think you kind of missed out for a decent value. Still a little bit too expensive for me, even at $60, just not worth it. But the old ones over here, the triple rare foilings, they are kind of going up as well. Market price of $9, $15 listed medium price. If you have these, if you want to get rid of them, you don't care about the rarity and whatnot. I think this art is really, really cool in general. It's cool to have that kind of like old card that with like the stripe kind of triple rare foiling on it, but those are becoming a little bit more expensive. And something that I think is, I know I mentioned Chaos Breaker, and this is something that's very pertinent to me, but something to get around it over here, you unlock all your locked cards. This was really expensive at one point. I don't know where it was, but I think, yeah, this used to be like over $20. This has kind of come down to that $5 price range. You only really need, what is it? Do you need one? I forgot if this is like a flip. Yeah, choose a face on. So you need 2 of these, but I think this is a really good counter card for the price right now. Such an old card's never been reprinted. I think that it's definitely worth maybe picking it up if you are a Gold Paladin enthusiast. With that being said, too, I think Gurgit's looking to be one of the best decks out of Premium Collection as well, the History Collection coming up. So the SP version of that, I think other people are kind of picking up on it too, is kind of increasing. See them selling for $20, $23, $25. There's only 2 copies. A playset for this is going to be over $120. You're at that $140 kind of price range for a playset of the SP. So if you have any of those laying around, maybe some value just in your trade binder or whatever, just be aware of that. Something that's come down a little bit in value too. No Life King Death Anchor. We see that, you know, right now, this is kind of the coin flip deck. Draw the right cards. You have one of the best cards, one of the best decks in Premium in the meta. If not, a little bit expensive. This is an old card, hasn't really been reprinted if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, no, it has not been reprinted yet. Very, very expensive. This is going to get a reprint, I believe, in the History Collection thing. So, you know, people are buying it for $15 a pop. It's coming down to $9 for a playset. I think just wait a little bit. It's still not worth it really at that price range. Super Games is a really great store though, so not to put them down. And lastly, over here, Dragonic Overlord the End. Overlord the Cross is getting reprinted, but this guy's still, I don't think he's getting reprinted, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I don't remember the deck, the set right off the top of my head, but this is still, you know, the premier kind of build for, I believe, Overlord. If you are looking to play Kagura in Premium, you can use some of the Eugene lists. I posted a couple of them, the restand stuff. It's kind of cheese, but there are some things to kind of get around it. Overlord is just, you know, consistent. It's not really, the floor is kind of high for it. The ceiling is not extremely high, but again, restanding Vanguard, luck of the game, like you can just win straight up through luck. And I think this card with no reprints is still worth it. And this deck did actually just win a, it was part of the team, I believe, that won a Spring Fest. I don't know where off the top of my head, but just be aware of that this card over here, the reverse, all that kind of stuff, like it's still viable in Premium. Don't let anybody tell you it's not really, but you know, if you're looking for something just super easy to play, to get into the format, to kind of like maintain and not really update too often, I think this is still a really good pickup for that. And you can get a playset for $100. It's, yeah, kind of at its median right there, a little over its listed market price. So thank you guys so much for watching this week. Let me know if there's any cards that I missed down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And if you are enjoying the content, I ask that one more time. Maybe you just leave a like on the video, possibly subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much, trying to get to that 2K. So thank you in advance. This is Alex from Team Generations signing out.